Welcome to the Take It Home podcast. The podcast so bad we really just need to take it home. I am one of your hosts, Doc Simmons. You can find me on all social media at DocSimmons17. I've got a fancy little link tree in my bio that will have all my websites. I'm joined here today by three other lovely men. I'll pass the hot tag off to my partner. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's the Outlaw Zach Hendricks. Find me on all social medias at Z Hendricks Brand. Or now I have one of those fancy link trees too.
Yeah.
So, mama, we making it. And of course, if you love me and Doc together, you can go to Instagram and Facebook at Country Air Official or go to Country Air Brand on Twitter.
I guess we give a monstrous
pass to Gunner.
You can get me on Gunner Wicks at everything, no spaces, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. I think that's all of them.
Ooh, what's on your YouTube channel, Gunner Wicks?
A bunch of mediocre wrestling matches involving myself.
My favorite kind.
And a new promo for Stacy that I posted last week.
Very nice, very nice. And we'll pass it on over to our senior official.
And I am Perch, and you can find me at PerchXLV, and that's # for the ref brand. And you can find our awesome pod at Waffles Take It Home Podcast. And speaking of that promo, G, I heard some feedback from people over the weekend, and I heard people are hyped. I forgot exactly who it was, but it was about 2 people were like, yeah, I saw that Gunner promo, and he's gonna get his ass kicked by Stacy Shadows this weekend.
Doubt it.
It was pretty good though. No, I'm excited. That was a cool promo.
Thank you. Did the job. Well, actually, it didn't if everyone thinks she's going to kick my ass.
It may have been 50-50.
Does everyone think or does everyone know she's going to kick your ass?
Huh?
Is everyone thinking or does everyone know she's going to kick your ass?
That's the thing. Nobody knows. Except for me. I know, and I'm kicking her ass.
All over the Midwest. But, all right, we will get into what we got coming up this week, but why don't we get with our first segment as always. Perch, what is our banger of the week?
And this week's banger of the week had to dive back into the old high school days, driving around on the nice springtime. Winter starts to melt away, sunshine coming out, and the banger that I was bumping with the windows down was "King Without a Crown" from Modest Yahoo. That whole Live at Stubbs CD is about as good as it gets, with some beatbox in there, and just every rap flows into the next. But yeah, "King Without a Crown," that was the crown jewel on that CD.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, it always amazes me that how they didn't get more success. It felt like they should have. They're good, and that was a banger for back in the day. Yeah, rolling with the windows down in Wisconsin, it's like 40 degrees, but we are so hyped. I broke out the grill this weekend. Like, oh, we definitely using this.
We've been eating grilled food all week, been wearing shorts all week, and I think it's been about 35, 40 degrees. It's been wonderful.
Yep. Heat wave out here. All right, and speaking of a heat wave, why don't we talk about some hot fire matches we've been watching over the past week? I can go ahead and start. New Japan Cup started, so this has been very interesting for me because my first time watching the New Japan Cup was last year during the pandemic, so I know it was not the traditional how they hold it. Like, they didn't do pre-show matches or anything. It was just all tournament matches. So this has been interesting with how they tell stories of we have these 6-man matches where these guys can feel out their opponents. And then you have the tournament matches later in the day. So far, best matches I think have been Ishii and Jay White. That first round was good, and it's got to be Shingo and Okada. My man Shingo coming up with the win, avenging the loss from the G1, getting out of the money clip, hitting the last of the dragon. Beautiful. Very happy about that. And also, that had me convinced that Okada was coming to AEW for Revolution. That had me convinced. I was very surprised when he didn't show up. I was happy like they got the girls to show up, like Maki Ito and those who had been performing in Japan the night before. But I was sure Okada was going to come if he lost in the first round. But that was slightly disappointing. There's still time for him to come now that he's out of the tournament. But I was sure he was going to be there.
That would be something.
Yeah.
That would be wild to see Okada come up.
I mean, I thought it had to be him or Ibushi because with the New Japan Cup, the heavyweight champion isn't in the tournament, so he's not doing anything for a little bit. I figured maybe him or Okada would come.
Oh.
But sadly, I'm sure we'll talk about AEW Revolution at some point. Anybody else want to talk about what they've been watching?
I guess I can go, and that's I got really stuck. I don't know if I said it last week, but really watching a lot of the 2002 NWO and just being kind of disappointed. Like I told Dre about how Shawn Michaels joined a month later. He's like already outside wearing his own shirt, and like the next night wearing DX. Like it was just jumping around way too much. It could have been great. And of course, like I watched that AEW pay-per-view yesterday. I'm pretty sure all of us in this chat did. And have the same feeling that everyone else does. And that ending was wow.
Amazing.
Yep, we'll get everybody will talk about what they watched and we'll talk about Revolution.
Yes, sir. That's what, I'll just drop it at that.
Yeah. We'll go into details after this. So Gunner or Perch, if you have anything else you want to add as to what you've been watching.
Oh yeah, there was a good week this week. We'll go back to AEW on Wednesday night. Shaq made a big appearance. Now he was one who's been around our entire lives in the sports world and with wrestling, his name's been floated around a few times. But to actually see him in a match and in there with a couple of good workers like Cody and Red Velvet, in there with a star in the making, Jade, she's in there to try and look like a star, at least for her debut. I think they put Shaq in a good position in that match, and they made him look like $1 million.
Yeah, Shaq looks solid. They definitely kept him safe. Let him look good.
Yeah, and the setting up for that big timber table bump, that was beautiful. It set up so well, and at that moment you can just die happy when you're down there. Yeah, just sell and enjoy.
Yeah.
But the other big one from that night was seeing Tully Blanchard in action. They had a 6-man match with Luchasaurus, Jungle Boy, and Marco Stunt against Tully and Cash or Dash and the old FTR guys. And damn good match. Seeing Tully in there again. Hoping he would hit maybe that pile driver or the slingshot suplex, and we got them both. That was pretty damn cool to be watching, wrestling in 2021, and to have the nostalgic value like it was watching WCW back in the day. Back then they had to work, their asses off. Now you just give us a glimpse of it, and we'll enjoy it because it's nostalgic. So I really liked it. Great AEW on Wednesday. Really enjoyed.
I loved Arn coming out at the end, throwing up the 4, and it also made me think all they do is make Arn look like a slightly disappointed dad every time he comes out of the back, just scratching his beard, looking around.
Yeah, a little disheveled. Just I love it. It's how I've always pictured those guys too. Just the older guys, the kind of father figures, the tough nosed sons of bitches. And yeah, seeing a character like Tully Blanchard and his facial expressions of still selling that he's a coward. The way he gets in the ring and backs out really quick. all the way to seeing, Arn Anderson looking off from a distance and shit throws up that 4. It's the lineage is there, and the guys who helped pave the way are, still in it a little bit now. So I really enjoy it.
Anything else you want to put over?
We'll talk about it, but Christian Cage coming to AEW.
All right,
Pretty damn
let's
cool.
get out
Pretty
this one last shout out. JJ Garrett again on Dark had a great match.
oh yeah.
And so did JD Drake, 2 people we really like over here. So shout out to them. But let's go ahead and get into this AEW Revolution pay-per-view.
I'm glad you skipped out on me for the talking about what we watched, because AEW pay-per-view was the only thing I watched.
Like I figured.
We knew that. We knew
You
that.
knew.
We figured.
It was the attention grabber. It's the one that Brad still
If there was
hot, right?
anything that you were going to watch this week, it would be this.
You're right.
All right.
I watches himself play video games, pay-per-views, and the computer screen.
Yeah, like doubt you were watching the New Japan Cup or
No.
I haven't gotten to it yet, but looks like Warhorse lost the independent title.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, the Lee Moriarty.
Yeah, to Lee
Yeah.
Moriarty. I've been watching the show. It's the main event. I haven't gotten that far yet, but excited to see that match.
A couple of great workers there. Warhorse and Lee really getting to see them shine throughout last year and throughout the collective too. Both guys really had a good showing. That independent title is an awesome title to see and to see who's all holding it. And as far as it goes, Lee has got it now, and I can't wait to see him defend it.
Yeah, I wonder what his run is going to be like.
Yeah, Warris is what, 587?
Something like that.
Yeah, almost 2 years.
Almost 2 years. I think he's been the most different person to have it and really elevated the title outside of the ring. Tracy Williams had it, and I want to say Jonathan Gresham had it before him. And I expect Moriarty to be more like them, just great in-ring stuff. But,
Dude,
Yeah.
Moriarty, like, I didn't know, like, I've heard of him, but, like, I've never really seen him. And I went down to GCW for, like, Indy, and just him coming out with the Tiger mask on, just the crowd feeling. I was like, all right. Then you watch his in-ring work and how technical he is. You're like, oh, man, like, how can you not be a fan of this dude?
yeah, he's great.
He's definitely a guy, like, eventually I want to get up to that level to have a match of, like, what I would like to have a match with someone at that level.
Yeah, you just got to keep working. Practice, practice, practice.
Yes, sir.
All right. So now that we've gotten everybody over, let's talk about this pay-per-view.
Banger.
First thing I want to talk about is that ladder match and that brass ring. That was just the Sonic ring to go to the special levels.
Yeah,
That was
Yep.
the biggest Sonic ring I've ever seen in my life.
And I loved it. I was all for it. I want it. I want that brass ring so badly.
Did anyone else like mistakenly think that the mystery 6th person in the ladder match was the big Hall of Fame caliber talent that Big Show was talking about?
I thought that's what it was going to be, but when it was Ego, I figured, oh, okay, it's going to be something separate.
I was convinced that Ego just had a Big Show put him over this that way, because his gimmick is all Ego.
Mm-hmm.
Like I legit was convinced, like, all right, like no one else gets it, but I popped hard for it, thinking that was the Hall of Fame caliber talent they were talking about.
I would have been happy with it if that's. I mean, that's a great way to have an incoming guy get put over.
Yeah.
Yeah, get a lot of heat like right off the bat.
Yeah, great heel. What else was of interest besides the main event?
Man, that tag team royal was one of the coolest matches I've ever seen.
That was a little rough to follow because it had to be the double elimination. They're like, who's still in it? But yeah, that was.
I was disappointed in I thought Top Flight was advertised to be like one of the first teams in it, and they weren't in it.
Oh, I
Yeah.
was really hoping we would see them, and then
Yeah, they posted on Instagram saying making their pay-per-view debut, so I was like pretty pumped.
I figure they must have been on the dark the night before.
Yeah,
But
Bear
I
Country
definitely
though,
thought they were
like
going to be in it.
Yeah, Bear Country made a great showing.
Yeah,
When
it
who was it from from Dark Order, or was it Brandon Cutler who hoisted the guy up from Bear Country, and the look on his face,
did.
and, and he sold it so well, and then gets tossed out. It was just I think those guys really maximized their time inside the ring.
Yeah.
I think everyone really did in that match. I enjoyed it, and waiting to see. I remember Joe's fave, seeing Kane clear house always. You'd see a bunch of people in the ring.
Yeah.
And then you get a guy like Kane who just comes in and clears house. As the guys were accumulating, I'm wondering who's gonna be that guy and who's gonna clean house. And we got to see the Butcher kind of take some of that role. It was awesome.
Got to see Butcher take that role. Pretty Peter Avalon and Caesar Bononi to a lesser extent. I'm a huge Avalon fan and wasn't the biggest fan of him coming in as the librarian. I love Pretty Peter. Yeah, I love Pretty Pete. Pretty Pete definitely probably my favorite gimmick of his. He's had a couple through the year, so I'm very excited for him and Caesar Bononi. And the story that they told in that match, where Avalon would punch somebody and they'd sell, but then Caesar would punch them and they'd bump. Avalon would chop them, they'd sell. Caesar chops them, they bump. It was super slight, but I really enjoyed it.
Great dynamic.
what about the whole QT Marshall turning on Goldust, like out of nowhere, just eliminated himself?
I really like. I mean, I like that they put in some story into those. I always enjoy when they run those stories in Rumbles or Battle Royals when there's so many people going on and they still have time to, like, hey, like these people in there still have stories outside of this match, so let's keep it going. So I really enjoyed it.
What about? I think it was in the Royal. Correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't they have like Jack Evans underneath the ring for a split second until he eliminated someone, but it wasn't clear who? And
the camera wasn't on it. He eliminated number 10 from Dark Order, and that's why 10 came out later.
Yeah, I just like remember seeing that and being like, if they're trying to put this over for something, like not many people noticed.
They totally missed a shot on that. Yeah, that bad production happens occasionally.
And then when the Seidel's came out, Matt Seidel's going to the top rope. I'm like, oh, please don't slip again. That'll be two Royals.
And Michael Nakazawa couldn't be able to blame it on him. I thought it went pretty well. Another match I want to talk about is that Sting Darby Allin.
That match was fire.
Yeah, that was good. Once I saw that, they're going cinematic with this, I had complete confidence. Everybody knows I'm a big Lucha Underground fan. I don't know if you've gotten that far in the seasons yet, Zach, but Cage does have a couple of backstage cinematic fights. So I was completely confident, and his are some of the best in the whole show.
I was watching with a bunch of people, and before the match even happened, I said if it's gonna be cinematic, the match is gonna be good. If it's live, I'm not sure how well it's gonna be with Sting.
Yeah.
But once I seen that, I was like, oh hell yeah.
Had complete confidence once I saw, it was gonna be a cinematic match. I was like, oh yeah, this is about to be dope.
Dude, the entrance, Darby's entrance was awesome.
Yeah. it confused the female because she stepped out of the room for a moment and was just listening to it. She was just like, how is this entrance still going on? The ramp isn't that long. It's like, oh baby, you are missing what's going on here.
Couldn't begin to describe.
She's a big Cage fan. We haven't watched a lot of AEW, so she didn't know that he was in AEW. So she was very excited to see him. So that was a good moment in our household.
Dude, yeah, it was phenomenal. When Sting popped out that truck and had half his paint, painted like Darby. I was like, oh, wow, like what a rub.
Yeah.
And then like I thought like some of the angles they did shots in the ring, like the clothesline, the way they showed him hitting the rope, I was like, this is money. Like there's something here they need to keep doing.
No, yeah. Yeah, like like I know we just shouted them for bad production in the Royal, but very good production in this match. Top
Could you
notch.
imagine if they keep this as like Sting's gimmick? Like if you want to have a match with Sting, you have to go down to that layer and have a match. Like I'd be
I'm
for
all
it.
for it. Like I've said before, I want the Lions Den to come back. I am all for like area specific gimmick matches. Like having your own like personal, like I'm happy they brought the fight pit back. Like just having that having a special match be its own setting, I'm a big fan of.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I know people talk about the Roddy Piper Gold Dust, but I enjoy the idea of the backlot brawl.
I love the parking lot brawls when you show the guy like the heels of the babies walking up and everyone's around just drinking beer.
Yeah, like no, like this is a fight. Nothing pretty about it. I enjoy that. Opening tag match was great as well with Jericho MJF versus the Bucks.
The best long-term storytelling going on. Jericho and MJF.
Yeah, that's been going on since basically the start of AEW. And it's definitely been one of their best ones over the years. I really enjoyed. I mean, it didn't happen this week, but I feel we're leading up to it. Is when MJF was working to get Sammy out, and Sammy eventually left, and Jericho like admitted, "I knew what you were doing to him. I was just hoping that you guys would work, that it would make you both better." So, like, we all know it feels like MJF's trying to take over the inner circle. Jericho has to know. So I'm really intrigued by what's going to happen on Wednesday.
It's so good. It's so good. Such a juicy story. And it has been from day one. And it gets closer and closer every week.
Yeah. What other matches were there?
Just a shout out to Dustin Reynolds. I'm pretty sure had the realization with Pops this week that probably the majority of Royal Rumbles that have ever been televised think he may be in them as far as the big ones go. For as long as he's been in the business and for as many Royal Rumbles, sometimes he would only show up for the Rumble. To get a treat to see him in the in the Rumble this weekend was awesome.
Okay.
There's Hardy versus
oh yeah, Hardy versus Hangman.
Yep.
Also a good one. Nothing against Hangman. He just doesn't do it for me. He is really good. I am just never super grabbed by him. But Matt Hardy looked amazing. I love the Dark Order coming out to stop Jack Evans, because this is when Jack Evans comes back out to help.
Yeah, to continue that little feud.
Yeah, continue that story of Matt just trying to buy his way out of things and just being the ultimate carny.
Yeah, I agree with you about the Hangman part. Do you think the reason why Hangman's not like there no more is because they didn't pull the trigger on him? I feel like when All Elite first came out, like it was him versus Jericho, everyone was like super behind him. Like, this guy's the face of the company. I get like why you put the belt on Jericho because he's more established, but I feel like ever since then they kind of watered him down instead of having him being the top babyface that like it was made out to be. He started just jumping into tag matches and.
Well, I think that's more of a problem with all of them. I guess except for the Bucks, because they are a tag team, is that the Cody and Hangman and I mean the Bucks for a while were not presented as top guys in the company. Like they had the names to be the top guys, but they weren't winning matches. They weren't winning the big matches. I think that was a problem with all of them.
Yeah.
And I think
I don't know.
The Bucks winning the tag titles as early as they did helped.
I think the Bucks and Omega though are like a little, and even Cody are like more salvageable to like kind of not win the big ones for a while because of like they built a huge name. I just feel like Hangman wasn't fully there yet. And
Yeah,
he should
Hangman
have been more.
didn't have the resume yet.
That's what I'm saying. Like by pulling the trigger, he didn't have to win the belt right off the bat, but I feel like he should have been a guy like consistently main eventing and like doing a little bit more. If they were trying to build him up to be that way.
Yeah,
Like you said, they like kind of just they don't want to put they like granted to them they don't want to put themselves over, but I just feel like if
And Hangman's the best like top prospect in a major company right now. Like one of those draft him young, develop him, and see where he's at. He's in like the best position of everybody. Yeah, let everyone do their thing now. And as far as AEW goes, they're looking for long time longevity. A guy like
I also
Hangman,
understand why
absolutely.
they did that because they took the time to build other guys. Because if you think about it, instead of building Hangman, they built Darby.
yeah.
Like,
No, yeah, yeah, and if it was big enough for Hangman Jericho in that opening match, Hangman will get there when the time's right. So build everyone else around him. So when the time is right, you have a whole company of guys that are great. And Hangman, that top prospect, will be developed at that point. And you've got more, older guys and veterans in the company training and setting a foundation and infrastructure. So I think the future is bright for Hangman, and he's entertaining as hell right now.
I think as a company, they chose to put over other people first, which hurt and helped them at the same time. It hurt them in the sense that, for, I guess, casual fans who were like, well, what's the big deal with these guys? And then you come on and they're losing all these big matches. You don't get it. But then you get things like Darby. You get things like they bring in Cage, to just be a monster. You get things like MJF. They put over MJF. They told the story of Jericho building up Sammy and how that whole story is going. So they didn't build themselves, which hurt them for the casual fans, but for the guys who've stuck around, you've now got all these new stars, and now those names are like starting to take over again because now I guess it's more legitimate. But okay.
I have a question before we get to the last match. So this is like the first time I've watched like a full-length AEW match for quite some time. Do all their matches have so many false finishes?
That is definitely their style.
It's like I enjoyed the pay-per-view as a whole, and I thought all the matches were pretty solid for the most part. But like all those false finishes just like killed my interest for a lot of it.
I think we didn't talk about this match, but I think it was the most egregious in the women's championship match. The Riho and the Maki, that was way too many false finishes.
It's not like all the matches had multiple false finishes. Doing that so often just kind of makes them pointless for me and not excited when they happen again in every other match,
No, yeah. The opening tag match definitely had a lot. The women's championship was definitely like a minute or two too long with the fault.
She kept getting stronger at the end. Every move got the challenger stronger. Yeah, every big move, she stood up even stronger. What she needed to bust out the cane. I was like, where is that kendo stick?
One was a little, and like I love Riho. I think Riho is one of the best females that they have on the roster, but it's one of those things where it's diminishing returns because she's going for that knee again and again and again towards the end. So that's, to me, is the issue with that one. The tag match that started had way too many.
Matt and Hangman had a couple.
Yeah, Matt and Hangman had. I don't think theirs was as bad. I think theirs was.
No, it wasn't as bad as some of the others, but
yeah, I think theirs was probably one of the better ones.
I did enjoy the finish where he got hit with some move or something where he like fell off the apron. Dark Order like catapulted him back up, and then he did his flippy deal. That was cool.
Yeah, it was a great finish. But yeah, there were a lot of false finishes.
What about before we get to the main event too? What was you guys' thoughts about Cody getting that big injury where he had to make a dramatic leave just to come back? Like how do you feel? What was your thoughts on that?
I would say I didn't mind it. I don't think I'm just a big fan of that spot in general.
I guess like it wouldn't bother me more, but like I like Cody Rhodes. I'm always a fan of him, but lately like, I feel like his matches, especially pay-per-view ones, like there's always that big like he's out and has to like leave, and like it's like almost like a career-threatening injury, but then he comes back to the ring and fights back, and I don't know. I feel like sometimes like having that same thing happen to you over and over, it's a little drowning.
Yeah, I feel like he has done that one before recently. But like I said, I just don't think I'm a big fan of that, of the I'm hurt, I leave, and I'll come back later. Because
like even
I
like
saw it a mile. Also, I think it hurts because Randy just did it in the Royal.
well, like yeah, and like you said, like recently, because like hell, my first time like seeing him at All In, like when like live, he did that when the NWA heavyweight title match too. He took that like cut on the outside and
Yeah,
the ref threw the X up. So
I don't know. That spot just doesn't have. That spot is another one that's just having diminishing returns for me. I don't think I've ever been a big fan of it, and I'm not a fan of it now.
you seen Arn and Cody sitting in the tunnel too the entire match, like waiting for the spot. So like that was another thing that bothered me. Like
I didn't even notice him there. I just knew he was coming back. Like
yeah,
once he went out and the finish wasn't immediate, I knew he was coming back.
Yeah. You could see him at the top of the ramp, but like you said, we all know, we have an idea what's going to happen, and I think it just builds the anticipation of, oh boy, when's he going to come back? But in the meantime, Lance Archer was freaking beasting.
Yeah. I mean,
I thought he was going over.
That's another one where I'm worried, like, you guys got to pull the trigger.
That look when he destroyed everybody, and then he climbs up that ladder, and Ethan Page slaps him on the back, and he turns around like, I just took care of everybody. Who the hell is still alive? That was a great moment.
I think Archer definitely has underrated facials. I think he tells a good story with his face as far as being the crazy monster that he is.
His choke slams are fire.
Yeah.
They were.
Coming from a professional,
I enjoyed them quite a bit.
And Alex Reynolds almost did a variation of a tombstone. I noticed, or he did a tombstone, and it brought me back to the tag team. You and Chucky rocking that tombstone finish. I'll have to look it back, but it looked like it was a tag team version of a tombstone. Looked pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yep. You gotta steal from Killer Instinct, the hottest tag team in AWR.
I would like to say there's been lots of mentions of Killer Instinct lately on WWE television. Seth Rollins cut a promo mentioning Killer Instinct. I forget, someone else had a promo on SmackDown, I think recently, where they said they had Killer Instinct. So there's a lot of Killer Instinct going around.
So you might need to try to copyright that. That's what people do.
Yeah.
You might want to copyright that.
I'm just hoping it's some like major foreshadowing. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Like it.
All right. Is it time?
Main event time?
Is it main event time? All right. So the main event, Jon Moxley versus Kenny Omega in a exploding barbed wire death match. Good match.
Phenomenal
Match.
Asses.
But
And that match from the entrance of Moxley coming down with that badass leather jacket with the flask, swigging it, to Kenny Omega coming out all business, just straight up, no cleaner girls, no sweeper girls, comes out with the old bunkhouse jeans and knee pads
Yeah.
and that white shirt ready to get some blood on it. Like those entrances were pretty damn cool, and you knew it was the real deal. And looking at the ring setup, we all had visions in our mind of how it was going to be. I even thought maybe it's going to be on the football field. Like, holy smokes. But the way it was set up, that was good for me. I enjoyed the setup and everything. Just a grand spectacle, I guess.
No, yep. Setup was nice. It looked dangerous. I think they used the exploding ropes very well. That first throw in that Moxley took was bigger than I thought.
Yeah. My favorite exploding rope part was when Omega went for the pin and Moxley put his foot on the rope and explode. That was I love that so much.
I was
very creative.
So I know you don't watch a lot of New Japan or like not WWE, but that's Kenny's finisher, the One Wing Angel.
I'm aware of that. Like no one's kicked out of it in like forever.
No one's kicked out of it. So I thought it was very genius to use the foot on the rope, but the environment to get it to explode in his face to get out of it.
Yeah,
and that was beautiful. That one brought me back.
Great way of just like protecting your finish.
Great moment, and you got Don Callis on commentary saying no one's ever kicked out of that one. And yeah, just a 1-2. Moxley kicks that rope, and it sends referee Bryce Remsburg as well as Kenny Omega flying backwards. That was just great.
That was perfect. That was a great false finish because I was stuck right there because we know nobody kicks out of the One-Winged Angel. But this can't be where the match finishes. What's going on?
Yeah, so that finish leads up to the both of them kicking each other's ass, some noises going on, and half the intrigue of a match like that is not knowing what the hell's about to go on. But we all know there's a countdown, and time is imminent. And
countdown is going.
And in Kenny the Cleaner fashion here, he has the Good Brothers come out and kick ass as if they couldn't have done that from the start. I was disheartened at that point. It's like, no.
The exploding bat to the face was great.
This is
that was pretty damn cool.
Moments where I thought, hey, this is perfect for Ibushi or Okada to show up right now.
Same. I was thinking something similar. As like someone's going to come out and even the odds.
Yes, this would have been the perfect time for like I was convinced it was Ibushi or Okada. I was convinced it was going to be Ibushi because he's not there for the tournament. I was like, this is a perfect time for him to come out and be like, Kenny, what are you doing? Like, you are the 6-star match god or whatever. Like, you don't need to do this. I was sure that like, all right, this is the moment. Here they come.
If only. What's with people not having pals these days?
Yeah, which we will get to very shortly. So, the Good Brothers come out, proceed to beat down on Mox. Kitty sets him up, One Wing Angel in the middle.
On the chair.
Well, first, he took that shot to the face with the bat and kicked out.
Oh, Moxley didn't go down without a fight. Moxley
kicked out. That one got me.
Yeah.
That one got me.
But yeah, he takes the One Winged Angel on the chair. 1, 2, 3. And there is an absurd amount of time on that timer left.
Oh yeah, that was a ridiculous amount of time.
Like, they did not. It's like, we are super green and can't talk about pacing of a match. but that one was a bad one. Because what happens is they just proceed to beat Mox for the next 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Till the countdown hits about 20, maybe. And then here comes Eddie Kingston, Moxley's friend, to help him. After Moxley's been beaten for at least 10 minutes, he didn't come out to help him during the match. Didn't come out to help him in the previous 3 minutes post-match. Comes out in this last 20 seconds. Butcher and the Blade on his back. So it was good continuity that story from earlier in the night was still going on, I guess. Comes in to make the save. Moxley can't get the handcuffs off. Lays on him to take the explosion. We hear that 3, 2, 1, and the buzzer go off.
Poof.
No explosion, just sparklers.
Oh, and didn't the sparklers only come up on 3 corners? Wasn't one corner not going off?
Yeah.
It looked like a grand sparkler. I think it was all 4. I think the sparkler presentation was pretty damn good.
Yeah, the sparkler presentation was good. You could hear that something was going off like underneath the ring, but
Anticlimactic to say the least.
Yes.
anticlimactic to say the
In the best of ways.
like.
It's like you hold your breath when it's about to go off, something's about to happen, then nothing really happens, and you just kind of left like,
Yeah.
with this feeling. No, what do I do with this?
Like I was and because I mean commentary was doing their best because like we said match probably ended a little bit too early on that timer, so
Yep.
they have to talk through the beatdown, and they were doing a good job of keeping the tension up with it about to explode, and it just doesn't go off, and sadly Eddie sells it like it does.
Yeah, that sucked too.
That I think if Eddie got up immediately and was like, "Is that all?"
Yep.
it would have gone over better.
Hmm.
Do you think though, like with Eddie, not going up is because just him being there live and hearing the noises, maybe he expected it to be.
I do think because because he has his head down and he's covering Moxley's face. I don't think they can physically see what's going on. They probably hear more and it sounds worse in the middle of the ring than what we saw visually. So he just sells it like that.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, but I think if somebody on the outside could have gotten to him faster and be like, it fucked up, I do think that would have gone a lot better.
And even, have you guys seen that video of after the match, Moxley promo where he was like, Kenny Omega can't like engineer worth a shit or whatever.
Yeah, like
that was all made whole in the morning. We all went to bed last night knowing what happened and knowing what was going to happen today, but we also got that promo vid from Moxley saying we can all agree on one thing, that Kenny Omega is one tough son of a bitch, but he can't make an exploding ring worth a shit.
And I think had that been able to happen right then and there on the show, it would have gone, the whole match would have been so much better for what it was. And sadly, people are only going to remember that shitty explosion.
Yep, there's that like old Vince McMahon quote, the only thing people remember is the finish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sadly, that's where that one's going to end up.
We overlooked because we went to the main event. We forgot to talk about, elaborate more on the Christian signing.
Oh yes. Oh yeah. Okay. Yes. Let's get rid of bad taste. They'll fix this on Wednesday. It would have been better had that promo been earlier, but we'll get over this. Yeah, the Hall of Fame talent, Christian Cage, outwork everyone.
Big fan.
Y'all saw that coming?
I'm not one for speculating. Half of my favorite thing about wrestling is not guessing. So I didn't even indulge myself to care to guess who it could have been. So when it was Christian, I was very thrilled because he's got a great mind for the business. Listening to that Edge and Christian podcast years ago, hearing his inside and how he can talk to people, and his psychology for wrestling. He's an asset to the business to have. So the fact that he hasn't been being used for quite some time and was presumably retired for good, the fact that he can come back and be a part of AEW, um, in the ring, sure, but backstage is phenomenal. I think a lot of people are going to be able to learn from him, whether it's going over psychology or having things make sense. A whole new crop of talent.
Yeah, especially for tag matches, because we talked about the tag royal being, it was great, it was good, but there was also a lot of sloppiness in there. That I think if you have somebody with a tag team experience of Christian who's younger, that I think a lot of these guys will be willing to listen to, because I'm sure we've all heard the rumors of them not being happy with Jim Ross and some of the other older vets. I think Christian is at an age where it'll be easier for him to talk to those guys and just make that stuff a little bit tighter. Because the match was really good. There's just some sloppiness here and there that I like. You could tell Dustin Rhodes was getting a little perturbed during that match a couple times, just with how wild everything's are. So I think maybe somebody like Christian being there will help tighten up the ship a bit.
Yep, that's how I see it too, or at least how I hope to see it. I think that would be great to have him tighten the screws a little bit and teach some good the experience that he has to teach psychology now.
Definitely. Zach, Gunner, thoughts on Christian signing?
I was definitely really shocked because I was pretty convinced with Edge being a part of like the WWE, like Chris, they're going to do like a Edge and Christian match at least once. But both of them being good, that moment they had in the Rumble, I was sold that there's going to be an Edge and Christian tag match coming up against like the Usos down the road.
I was told it was going to be at
That'd be sweet.
I thought that made the most sense. Like Christian was the last person I was expecting to be the Hall of Fame talent. I was sure, like I was surprised they hadn't announced it up to this point, but I was sure that it was going to be Edge and Christian in a tag at Fastlane against Roman Reigns and somebody.
Yeah, or even if Jimmy came back, or whoever's the one who's been off of TV, like Roman will say, like he could be like, you can have a tag match against a table, and all the fans are like, it's super cool. But you're gonna take on Jimmy and Jay, and they'd be like, oh, it's even still great because it's two great tag teams. Yay! No, I did not expect. Yeah, 100% did not expect. 100% did not expect Christian to be the guy. Like I was convinced it was like Kurt Angle.
I thought it was Christian going into it, so it wasn't like super surprising to me.
Get out of here.
But I was looking at like the names being thrown out there, and yeah, Kurt Angle was one of them. But then he posted like that promo video thing on Twitter of like him putting his straps on, and it was like, by straps I mean like singlet straps. That could be translating something bad. But yeah, so like once you put that up though, I was like, oh, it's not going to be him anymore. Like he's trolling. If it was him, he wouldn't have posted that. I heard like CM Punk, everyone always thinks every return ever is going to be CM Punk.
Yeah.
No way.
As in, like, it's very annoying. Everyone would love it to happen, but I think people just need to come to realization like Punk's not returning.
See, I'm lucky that I did not watch during the Punk year, so I don't ever have that feeling that he's coming back.
Hey, have you gone back and watched his run at all?
That is my plan. I think that's what I'm going to do next after I finish this WrestleMania watch. Is my next.
I highly recommend.
Next, watch the Punk run. Like I stopped watching like when he was still in ECW.
Yeah.
When him and Kofi were like the new hot thing in ECW. When I stepped away for a bit.
Yeah, and then I knew Christian was like on the list of potential AEW signees, and some people thought he was like under a Legends contract, but then it like came out a day before he wasn't under any contract. And yeah, so I just thought it was going to be it.
Oh, see, yeah, I had missed all the news. I was more on, I guess, what had Zach said earlier with like ego. I thought it was going to be somebody off the indies that they were just going to put over and say, hey, this guy has the talent to be a Hall of Famer. So yeah, the Christian one was just a huge surprise.
Yeah. It's still pretty cool there. I'm excited to see like what he does. If he has like a sweet run like he did in TNA back in the day.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, like people like to compare AEW to TNA when it comes to signing the old stars, but they've done a good job of using them sporadically and not crazily putting them over.
yeah,
Like,
like making him like the heavyweight champion the following night.
yeah, if this was TNA, they're still putting over the hometown guys, and when they bring in the WWE guys, it's put over the hometown guys. I mean, you look at Adam Page versus Matt Hardy from the night before. Had this been TNA, Hardy definitely would have won.
Yeah. What about I won't mind if they put the AEW title on Big Show, just so Big Show can say he's the only man to hold the WCW, ECW, WWE, and AEW title. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, I could see that maybe down the line. I'm happy they didn't do it on day one. But yeah, maybe down the line.
No, I mean, I like how they do everyone else. Like, don't put them in the title scene because like these guys like know they're here to build up the small guys.
Yeah,
But Big Show can have a one-off just so you can have that claim that title.
yeah, that'd be nice. Okay,
There's definitely only so much room at the top for so many people, and definitely need like a good mix of young talent, older talent, and have them intermingle and build each other up.
yeah, and I think that's why they use Jericho the way they do. Is he is that older guy that can be in the title scene and it not feel like you're just pandering to WWE legends.
Yep.
But now that we're at the end of this pay-per-view, I think it's a good time to move into the question that I posed to the chat. What is your most disappointing moment in wrestling? I said this could be something personal that you have done or just something that you've seen. I can go ahead and start. My most disappointing moment in wrestling is the entirety of season 4 of Lucha Underground. The whole season, everything about it, that is the whole year, because it was over a year. So that whole 2018 is my most disappointing moment in wrestling. Reasons why? Part of it is not under their control. There was certain government policies put into place by certain people that made it very hard to get work visas from certain countries that basically cut half their roster. So they were operating at half capacity. I've said it before, too many cooks in the kitchen. With half their roster gone, you need to get a new roster, and nobody wants to pay anybody specifically because they're like, why is that my responsibility? So the roster that they could get was, they did the best that they could. That there were some bigger names that they could have gotten. And then also, that's the last season. So with all the open-endedness that it ended and some of the people like Jake Hager being the last Lucha Underground champion is going to bother me. So I would say that's probably my most disappointing moment in wrestling is just everything in season 4, the new venue, the horrible new ropes. It's just bad from start to finish, sadly.
I guess my most disappointing thing, besides like yesterday, because that kind of ranks up there, to be honest, when they started, just because of everything else AEW was capable of, when they were hyping up the exploding ring, I was like, I'm pretty sure like everyone else, I was expecting in the like some type of the arena was set up, like explode, like something really freaking cool. But so that was super. I think it was super disappointing because I like everyone else hyped myself up for it. I guess the other thing is, as of late, what I can think of is the NWO run in 2002. Like
It's fine.
that is horrible. Like every month they have a guy join for a month. And then after the like Vince McMahon comes out to the NWO song and says like, "This is the last time you'll ever hear it." As of today, the NWO is done. Scott Hall was randomly fired. Kevin Nash randomly fired. Then like after the NWO is done, they show Big Show bickering with Shawn Michaels like, "You're a bitch. You better watch your back." I'm like, bro, you guys were just too sweeting it last Monday with each other. Like, what is the, it just didn't, nothing made sense. They didn't play on it too long. It was bad.
Okay. Perch, Gunner.
And you posed that question, Dre, and I immediately think back to childhood. But it was I was disappointed every time the Hardys didn't win the championships. But yeah, that was just small. And then there was when The Rock went to Hollywood and the movies came out, realizing we wouldn't see him anymore. And I'm sure if you would have told me that, Undertaker was going to ride the motorcycle down to the ring for the last time, if you would have told me that back then, I would have been pretty disappointed. But looking at those ones, those are a few big ones that I think it just comes with growing up that I miss. But a recent memory and a recent moment that I had was when what was it, the main event at a WrestleMania a few years ago. I think it was the one in New Orleans, and it was Roman against Brock, and Roman got busted open and his face is gushing blood. And it was like one of the coolest moments I remember seeing in recent wrestling at the time. And I really wanted him to win the title. I thought, everything is working his way. He's gonna do it. He's gonna win it and hold that title up over his head with his face gushing blood. There's gonna be a shirt of it. It's gonna be a poster. It's gonna be awesome. And then Lesnar does what Lesnar does and crushed my hopes and dreams of seeing that image of Roman holding that title over his head that night. And from a true fan, that was a moment that I can gladly say I was disappointed by Brock Lesnar.
Decisions are well within your range of being what you're allowed to be disappointed in. I think at that time, I'm sadly on the other side. I was very happy that Brock won. I think I was feeling at the same moment that is Roman gonna win this?
Yeah, it was just they did a good thing. They had a great story going into that, and then
definitely
that
stories.
Yeah, it gets a lot of good emotion in there, and yeah, I wanted to see him beat Brock. Then a couple years later, I wanted to see Triple H kick his ass and keep that title, but that wasn't the case.
That's the one, because I think that was one of my letdowns with Roman was in the run to that when does he attack Brock backstage and Jay and Jimmy like stop him? Is that?
Ooh.
I think so.
It might be that one, but that's when I wanted basically this head of the table character to happen. Was during that feud. What I'm getting now is what I wanted during that feud.
Yeah.
I wanted him to go crazy and like at that moment, I wanted him to beat down the Usos.
Mm-hmm.
Like he has just done. Like I think it's that one. Have to go.
Great Roman is good wrestling.
I like Roman. I've just always been like slightly disappointed with his character. It's never everything I want. I don't hate it as much as everybody else, but it's always just like so close to being exactly what I want.
Brings me back to being a kid and a fan. He would be like my Hulk Hogan, as I was the #1 fan club. No,
yeah, and I've said it.
Nostalgic.
I've always been a guy who loves work rate more so, and I think Roman's always been great in the ring. I've never watched the Roman, except for the one with Kevin Owens, which was out of his control. I've never been disappointed in a Roman match. Like, nothing that he's done has been like egregious, and I've always enjoyed his matches.
Are you talking about that recent Last Man Standing match
Yeah,
with the handcuffs?
yeah, with the handcuffs. That's not his fault.
So why does every like major disappointing botch always involve handcuffs? So does the AEW one too, in some way, shape, or form.
The two silver linings that can be said in that was when Moxley took that the one-winged angel and kicked out with that close 1-2 boom.
Yeah.
And also in that Roman match, when the referee was at 9 and Roman pulls the collar of the referee and he bonks his head right off that I-beam.
I just wanted him to do it again.
What some great finishes.
Yeah, that was great. And then it's just immediately followed by that thing, which that's the same thing with AEW. Everybody's only going to remember the mess up. They're not going to remember the awesome falsy right before it.
And they're firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, when the match was great and you were freaking Kevin Owens got hit by a cart going like 80 miles an hour, and nobody's going to remember that.
Hey, we still remember. We still remember these moments.
Everybody's going to remember, why did the ref stop counting?
See, I forgot about that, truthfully. And all I remember was that bump that the ref took. But that's just my eyes.
Yeah, understandable. I think that's more due to profession. You're going to remember that one more so than other people. I remember it because I thought that was genius, and I want to use that spot at some point. But that's just me. Gunner.
Well, I think I'm gonna stick with my theme here of like every week we have these questions, and I always somehow involve Undertaker or Kane in them, or both. So I'm gonna stick with that. So when I was a kid and still thought like every storyline in wrestling was 100% real and legitimate, big Kane fan, obviously. And he had the storyline with Lita where she got pregnant and they're gonna get married and some stuff.
Yeah.
Like, since I was like totally bought into this and thought everything was like just legit, I was so disappointed every time Kane treated her like unfairly or poorly, because Kane was like my favorite, loved him. Lita was my favorite female. And I was like, Kane, I get you're a monster. You had a messed up childhood. Like, why do you keep doing bad things? I was like pulling for him to like have a face turn and be a good guy every week, and it never happened. That's always so disappointed.
Wait, it does happen. He does turn face during this.
Yes, and I was extremely excited.
Horrible storyline for where it goes. He does turn face.
Yes, and when that happened, I was ecstatic. But like all the moments beforehand, just broken heart. Like, why can't they just get along and live happily ever after?
We get one of my favorite entrance drops because of this storyline. It's not my fault.
Oh yeah.
Like,
I wonder what Snitsky's doing nowadays.
Oh God.
Yeah, so there's that one. I also have another one that involves Undertaker. It's Sting coming to WWE and never having a match with Undertaker. I was really hoping that would happen at some point. When probably happy that it never did happen, because I don't know how great of a match it would be at the time. But then when the pandemic happened, they're doing all these cinematic matches. I was really hoping Sting would come back to WWE, because I bet him and Taker would have like a good cinematic match. That'd be amazing, but never happened. Went to AEW.
Yeah. Especially after last night, you're probably right. It would have been a great one.
Yep. Yep, two big disappointments.
Yeah, that's peaks and valleys.
Peaks and valleys. That's true disappointment. I can feel it in those storylines.
Yeah, that's what wrestling has always been. It's the peaks and valleys. I think we seen a lot of valleys, or we saw one big valley last night, sadly.
Yep.
I'll still remember it as the one with the one-winged angel that Moxley kicked out.
Yeah, like I'm gonna remember that. Only
Brilliant.
another one because I would like to use that spot if I'm ever in a match like that. Yes. Just set off this explosion in your face to get out of this real quick.
It blew them all back. That was great. And shout out to Bryce Remsburg too in the hazmat suit. That was brilliant. That was so great.
Definitely
To
looked
ref a whole match like that is so
uncomfortable
hard.
in that suit. So uncomfortable.
That's got to be very, very tough to do.
I imagine. Let's go ahead, move on to our next segment. Let's move on to brighter things. Let's talk about the weekends we had. We'll go through the three wrestlers who didn't do much this weekend because we've got our senior official who I think had the only show of the weekend. I rested and worked out a bunch, so that was good. Rested the ankle that I've been dealing with. Got some sewing done and some knee pad covers done that I shot to Zach that I think I have fixed the problem that we had on them. So hopefully,
Black knee pad covers as well, or are we just doing a white one?
no, we're doing a black one too.
All right.
But I think I got it.
Aha.
So hopefully I can get that done this week. Didn't take too long. But that was my weekend. Just working on that and working out.
Yep. Yeah, same thing over here.
All right. Bunch of
Minus the kick pad covers.
Matt, we're just a bunch of buff guys over here.
My weekend was pretty much the same. For a street fight, we're not going to wear gear, so was taking care of what my name Dre's outfit's going to be.
It's gonna be fire. Gonna be fire.
Yeah, come to the Luck of Irish and check it out. More custom gear of your mama's favorites. And
I know you fans really enjoy us because we dress well. So come see it.
you don't like our moves or anything else. It's just
Yeah, we dress we talked about it earlier, but shout out to Warhorse. Warhorse was also like one of the first people to endorse when we went to the camo gear.
What do you say again about it?
Oh, he really enjoyed it, and he was like, I don't know why more people don't do gear like this.
That's right.
Props.
Yeah. Anything else, Zach? You want to talk about your weekend?
I mean, I just seem like, worked out because I want to try to be a buff guy like you and Gunnar. Fixing on some gear for you guys who are coming out to the Luck of the Irish Brew City Wrestling, March 13th, this Saturday, everyone, at the Elks Lodge in Waukesha, Wisconsin. There's the plug, Frank.
Here's the plug. He also edited our vlog. For.
Oh yeah, I did the vlog. There we go.
Yeah, you did
the
vlog.
February vlog. There we go. I forgot I did that.
Yeah.
And seeing some family.
Yep. Gunnar, you want to expand on being a buff guy, or was that enough?
I don't know if I'd call myself buff. Getting there. No, just went to the gym every day. Did a lot of, since like if I have weekends where there's no wrestling, and it's obviously not during the week, so I don't have work wrestling or anything. Take the extra time to like stretch, meditate a little bit, fix the mind and the body at once. Spend a lot of time lifting slowly, lots of reps, get a good sweat on, just having a good old time.
All right.
That's basically all my days consist of. Get up, maybe play some video games, eat an apple or two, hit the gym for a long time, come back, eat some more, play some more games, watch some wrestling, sleep.
You watch wrestling? What you watch besides AEW?
No, that was it. Yeah.
The rest of the time was filled with video games.
Lots of Call of Duty Zombies this weekend, I will say that. Yeah.
New zombies?
Doing quite well for myself. Yep. Had a few games with like over 1,000 kills that lasted like 4 hours long.
Oh God.
I'm a nerd like that.
Like I
Fun.
see that, but I play JRPGs and I would have done the same thing.
Yeah, yep. Fun, fun gunner fact. I was once a professional Call of Duty player back in the day. So I'm quite good at that game, and I still like to
Was it
enjoy
World
when
at
I have
War?
the time. I was really good during the like Modern Warfare 3 Black Ops 2 era. But World at War, that's a good one too. Enjoyed it. Yeah.
That was my only one.
That was the first Call of Duty games with zombies in it. Fun fact.
Of course,
Yep.
professional freaking Call of Duty player. I always end up being friends with people who play shooters professionally, which in turn makes me not want to play shooters because I would just play with you guys. And I
Get wrecked.
yeah. Like my friends were big Halo players and were like top 100.
Oh yeah, I love Halo too.
Yeah, so that wasn't fun.
Well, if you ever want to play sometime, Doc, let me know.
No. Like no. Like so I want to just be, some Japanese high schooler that saves a cat at the beginning of the game and has to kill God at the end.
Great story arc.
Yeah.
Not too much to ask for.
But let's go ahead and move on to the big star of the weekend, Perch.
Yeah, it was it was a good weekend. We were up in ACW in Oshkosh, and ended up having a couple matches. First match was Stacy Shadows against Sierra, and that was a heater of a match. Those two girls went at it from the start, hard hitting.
Did Sierra wear her down for me?
Yeah, I would say so. You may have a little bit. You may owe Sierra or a drink or buy her some lunch.
All right.
because she softened up Stacey Shadows a little bit. It was a draw. It ended in a count out. Both girls went on the outside, and I had to count to 10. Had to call it. Had no choice. I looked at old Bobo and told him to ring the bell, and it was a count out. And then both girls, Stacy and Sierra, hopped back into the ring and proceeded to kick each other's ass. And at that point, I had to get involved, and I got in between, and they kind of threw me to the side, and had to call for backup.
Ooh.
So it turned into a full pull apart and brawl, setting up for a match next month between the girls. And it ended with Stacy Shadows and Sierra in a stare down, and then Sierra kicked Stacy right in the face. It was good. That throws back to one of the earliest matches I remember seeing, Turner Hall for Ring of Honor with Stacy Shadows against Sierra many years ago, and I was a fan. So it's a rivalry I've been lucky to be a part of, and am blessed to have learned from both of them and continue to. So that was a great match, fun all around. And
So
saw someone in the
saw that
parking lot.
that will never be seen again. How was it? How was it? Do you remember any of it?
What was that?
You remember any of that match? Because that match won't be seen again. That specific
Oh yeah.
put it out.
Yeah, no, it was I think Stacy Shadows ended up getting the win. We were just hyped because didn't know who they were at the time, and just heard from Green Bay, Wisconsin. We're like, yeah. And then, from Cudahy, Wisconsin. Yeah.
Awesome.
We would always tailgate the event, so I didn't remember all that much from the pre-show. But needless to say, they've been going at it as long as I've been in the business, and great rivalry between the two. And so that ended in a count out, and I had a fan later on, giving me shit, saying, "Hey, Perch, I bet you can't even count to 3." And I turned to him and said, "Yeah, well, I got to 10 of that last one." And it floored him. His buddies were busting his shit. Got him. Oh, that was good. That made my night. I enjoyed it well. But the other match was the debut of Skits with Tyler and Sean. And that was good. He's a horror show character from a from a haunted house, and he was taking on porn stash Peter Schwanz, and Schwanz is a fan favorite anywhere, so the place was going nuts. I got to be a part of the best entrances all night in that ring. The music was rocking, the crowds were going nuts. But it was good. Sean Priest interfered, and I had to call a disqualification. So that was the end of the match, and Porn Stash ended up winning, and they proceeded to kick his ass afterwards. So again, I got in between, tried to get involved, and Tyler Sullivan whispered something in my ear that I can't repeat, and it stunned me cold, and I had to leave the ring. So it was a couple of wild finishes, and the main event was a ladder match for a contract for, I think, the main event, or for a title match, and it was a banger between Backwoods, Drake, Colucci, can't think. Joey Jett was in the match. It was a good one, hard hitting all the way around, and guys taking some good bumps off ladders. One of them, a good bump, was Drake Daniels getting Backwoods Brown up for a big slam. The crowd was on their feet for that. And Backwoods ended up choke slamming a few people. So it was a great match, and ended with Colucci getting the win. So cool to see a ladder match done. We had, not as much experience with ladder matches, but they come around once in a while. So I really enjoyed it.
Good. Which leads me to think, are there any stipulation matches that you haven't done yet that you are looking forward to doing?
Yeah, an I Quit match, straight up. That's just a simple, it's not a simple one, but a match that is often overlooked because of the stipulations to it, and the feud that is needed to properly, have one.
The warrant one, yeah.
To warrant one. If I were to dig through the matches, I may have had one, because I seem to recall having a microphone on me maybe once in my back pocket, maybe a Zawa show. So maybe I did an I Quit match. But needless to say, that's one that I would love to study and really get down and be a part of on a grand scale.
Okay. Nice. All right. So we've talked about what we've done this past weekend. Let's move on to what we got coming up this weekend. I know for the whole crew, we've got Bruce City Wrestling, Luck of the Irish, at the Elks Lodge on Springdale in Waukesha, Wisconsin. There you go, Frank. Another plug. I know for me and my very charming tag partner and his dog that was up on the screen for a while, it'll be Country Air versus Whiskey Benton Hellbound in a street fight. You got anything to say about this one, Zach?
Street fight, falls count anywhere.
You anywhere?
I mean, that's what I said. So
Good. Good.
I think I called the shot, right? So
okay, yeah. Like, I was kind of woozy at the time.
If it was up to me, we'd take the damn ropes out, kick all the fans out, and have an empty arena cinematic match. But we don't have the money or the time.
Yeah.
Nah, I don't want a cinematic. I just want to beat their asses. But I think the result it doesn't change. We beat them in 5 minutes at Rise. We were gonna beat them last month, but they pulled a chain on you. Now they showed us what they're capable of, and they don't know what we're capable of. They wrestled us in a wrestling match, street fight wise. They haven't wrestled us street fight versus street fight.
Yep. My past is known. I like to fight. My tag partner Zach, he also likes to fight. we are definitely the shoot guys. So if Whiskey Bent and Hellbound want to take this to the streets, we are more than able to. Uh, let's go ahead and pass it off to the one-man Riot Squad, who has a big match this week.
I do. Main event against Stacy Shadows, BCW Heavyweight Championship. Think she is highly underestimating me. I know she called me green last month, which I took personally. And I just think she's too ignorant to the fact that I'm bigger than her, I'm stronger than her, I'm meaner than her. I'm going to kick her ass and take her championship.
Very nice. Very nice. And I don't know how she could call you green when the way you destroy refs.
Didn't you, if I'm not mistaken, Gunner, wasn't your debut match at the Elks versus Stacy Shadows?
Yep.
And if I'm not mistaken, didn't you win?
You're damn right I did. So debut match at Elks Lodge for BCW, which is the greenest I'm ever going to be, or the greenest version of me she's ever going to see. And I won. So
Exactly.
I got 50 some matches experience later, and well, I think the outcome is pretty predictable.
She didn't wrestle Gunnar Wicks after Gunnar Wicks had a taste of gold.
Nope. No, she's
Point
not.
blank, period.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And I've been through a lot since then. I had my reign with Chucky as the tag team champs, had some banger matches with ASAP and a few others. And yeah, she ain't ready for this smoke.
You want the smoke.
Want the smoke.
And when the face paint comes on, it's a different game too. Not the same person I am now.
Yep, you're not the professional Call of Duty player. You are the Riot Squad.
Nope, no longer a professional Call of Duty player. I'm no longer a IT nerd. Fucking coming to kick some ass. That's exactly what I'm gonna do.
If everything goes right, Monday you'll be the BCW World
Heavyweight champion.
Yeah.
You're damn right. Looking forward to it.
So are we.
And Perch, if you ref that match, don't fuck it up.
And with that said, let's go ahead and pass it on to Perch. What you got coming up?
Oh man, I'm excited. It's going to be a good home game this weekend. I'm not sure all of the matches, but I know that I'll be in top shape, ready for it. We got a big week of training, get back into shape, and put the body in the best position it can be by the weekend. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
Very nice, very nice. Yeah, short weekend for us it looks like, but it'll be rough on the bodies for sure. So come check it out. 7:30. The
Elks Lodge Saturday show, right?
Yep, Saturday show,
Yep.
13th. Elks Lodge on Springdale and Waukesha.
Be there. We'll all be there.
Or B Square. Let's do a lot of XV lately.
If you guys are still debating on what to do this weekend, we just gave 3 plugs to this, so show the hell up.
Yeah, for real. I mean, it's gonna be nice out. Like, we're probably going to do something stupid just because we've gotten a dose of vitamin D. So
it's worth the price of admission by far within the first 5 minutes.
Definitely. The show will be good. They're always good.
You'll pay for the whole seat, but you'll only need the edge.
Bingo.
Okay, so let's go ahead and move on into our last segment. Gunner, if you actually have a question this week.
Got a couple of them.
Okay.
We'll start off with the easy one. What are you interested in that most people are not?
Me? Theology.
Really?
Yep. I love learning about other people's religions. It's very interesting to me.
Didn't know that. I thought you were gonna go with like some anime stuff or something.
Well, anime's like stream now, so I feel like it's like
True.
like, I mean, I could say some weird, obscure anime or some hentai shit, but even then, I think now people are freaking freaky as hell. So that's probably not as obscure as, yeah, I'm just really into learning about religions.
Solid. Zach?
Real dope.
I don't think I have like something as cool like SpongeBob, maybe.
Just basic.
Guess like I still enjoy watching a good season marathon of SpongeBob.
Nothing wrong with that. SpongeBob's great.
I have no like cool like I like to learn about people's religion because I'm like really deep in.
I'm not, like, one, it's not for deep reasons, I guess. I don't know. Like that's like
It sounds so cool compared to like, hey, this guy studies religions. What do you do? I watch SpongeBob.
it's like you guys do not understand the depth of my nerdiness. Yes, I study religions for fun. That is how much of a nerd I am. It's super interesting. Just
I mean, it's
I guess-
cool.
yeah,
I just-
it's not for deep. It's not really like deep. I just really think it's cool.
Religious study was like my worst subject in college. I think it was my lowest grade I ever got. Like I think it was a B plus.
I don't know. I love it. It's I don't know. It's just it's not really for any other deep reason than I think that stuff is cool.
All right,
Respect.
Yeah. It's not like I care about other people's opinions or anything or why they think that way. I just think those stories are cool.
yeah. I mean, I agree. I'm just saying, if we were like we're standing on a lineup and like we're like getting animated by something, like this guy has an interesting background, this guy does not.
God, whatever.
I'd be more interested in hearing your stories after that than mine.
Well, that's why I have the wings tattooed on my back, and because I got a thing for theology and like the Grim Reaper.
I just thought that's because you could fly.
Well, I am flyer than the rest of them.
And I assume the Green Reaper was because you're timeless.
That too, but no, I just always had a thing for it. It's super.
Perch?
Yeah, I would say I'm a big baseball fan, MLB, and the Grateful Dead, big fan, and in studying how they toured for 30 years, and studied different venues and where they play. Between that and baseball, different stadiums are cool. Between White Sox Stadium and Miller Park, I've been, and they're almost like a home away from home when you can go to the stadium just to enjoy baseball, peace and calm at the game, win or lose. It's always a good time. And tailgating at Miller Park has always been the best.
Gunner?
Like,
I mean, we just discovered you're a Call of Duty professional.
yes, I am. There's two things that come to mind. One is poetry, actually. So I like poetry a lot. Big Edgar Allan Poe fan. It's my favorite.
I memorized The Raven for my senior year high school project.
Oh yeah?
Yep.
Nice.
Quoted it from memory.
And then I guess another thing is, so for my current job, actually, I am a one-man IT squad. Just the IT department of one. So I'm really nerdy when it comes to technology. To get a more, I guess, advanced level. So yeah, I can nerd out about that forever, which I will not do right now.
It's a whole second life.
Yes. Yep.
Aside from the other life.
Yeah, slow computers, just as a whole, computer networking, of different types of software and AI stuff. Yeah. Like it.
All right. And you
And
have another question that you wanted to ask, or
I do. And it is, if you were given a PhD degree, but had no more knowledge of the subject of that degree besides what you have right now, what would that degree be?
damn, then I think I'm gonna have to go with the answer I went with before, theology. Would probably be my best option. Either theology or anime titty studies.
You've covered like completely two sides of the spectrum with that one.
Hey, if we want to talk about the physics of guy next boobs in anime, I could do that.
Right, so what was your question, Gunner? That leads
Dying.
into theology and anime titty study?
Yeah.
What was the question?
Yeah.
If you were given a PhD degree but had no knowledge of the subject besides what you have right now, what degree would it be?
Oh, all right.
I'd be a school gym teacher because I kicked the shit out of gym class back in the day. Like dominated. If it came to any games, any kind of getting things going, let me do it.
I could see
Older
that.
kids though, let them be good at like sports.
I'd either have a PhD in The Simpsons or a PhD in how to doing Microsoft Paint.
Nice.
I think your paint skills are definitely where the money is.
Like, if you guys don't know, all the match graphics I ever make are Microsoft Paint. It's not Photoshop. Posters, I make everything, all MS Paint, baby. So don't shit on my work. I know it's junk.
Old school.
Hey, gets the job done, brother.
Out here trying to make a living.
Yeah. Working with the tools you got. All right. So for the listeners, please leave a comment. What interest do you have that you think nobody else has? And if you had to get a PhD in something with only the knowledge you have, let us know what it is. It probably won't be as awesome as anime titties, but try.
I was not expecting that answer. Like, you went from theology to anime titties. That's great.
Hey,
I went
I'm a well-rounded individual.
I went from the guy I want to hear the stories from to the guy I want to party with.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. You know, you don't get to be the gahote by having singular interests. All right.
Well versed,
Yeah.
multicultural.
Yes, you have to be. All right. And on that note, if nobody else has anything to add,
Oh yeah, Kamagoye in the
in
UFC over the weekend for a disqualification, and the title belt changed.
Oh,
It was
that
awesome.
Oh shit! I'm gonna have to check that.
In the bantamweight division, it
Okay.
was wicked. It was dirty, but it was disqualification. Championship changed hands by way of Kamagoye.
God killer.
It was pretty sweet watching. A good UFC pay-per-view. Loved it.
There was a bunch of tweets about it, and I just couldn't parse everything that was happening. It sounded like it was a great show over the weekend.
Yeah, and dirty hit, thoughts and prayers.
Yeah.
Everybody, anyone doing that sport.
Yeah,
But
that
it
was
was
taking a knee on the ground isn't comfortable.
that was not fun to take that one.
Yeah.
But had to mention that one before he took it on home.
Okay. But hey, yeah, let's take it on home with that. The hope the fighter is safe. This has been the Take It Home podcast. Be easy. 1.
Yeah.